Now, this next one I'm about to say can be quite controversial. For instance, if I know that people who are fine, who are pretty, gain entrance faster in a particular place I want to visit. In the game of football, there's always a halftime, a time where the players enter into the inner room to rest and, most importantly, to re-strategize, to evaluate their performance and ask questions like, what have we been doing right and what have we been doing wrong? And I think it's safe to say we are now officially at the halftime of the year. And like one of my mothers said very recently, it is too early to give up. So in this video, we're going to be doing what footballers do and run through about 6 things you need to do in the remaining half of the year to make it your better half. And the obvious first thing to do is to reflect and adjust. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. So you need to take a step back and do an honest evaluation. You need to ask yourself what and why. So far, what has been working, what has not been working. Maybe your finances have been working, but you've not been going to the gym like you planned. Maybe a part of your business is working and a part is not. Maybe you're doing well in some subjects and you're not doing well in some other subjects. Just what has been working and what has not been working. And after that, you need to ask yourself why. Why has this been working? And most importantly, why has this not been working? Because if you don't figure out why some things are not working, then you don't know precisely what you need to do or change or adjust. You just keep stumbling along and hoping that things will change. But hope does not automatically change things. Action does, the right ones. And let me just say that sometimes asking why can be a very difficult thing to do, because in some situations the reason it's not working is because of something you did or didn't do, and it hurts to admit that it might actually be the problem. So it can be tempting to want to blame something or blame someone else for things that are not working, but you need to force yourself to answer the questions truthfully. For instance, I applied for an opportunity at the beginning of the year and I was advised to apply early, but I did not, and I later did not get the opportunity. Most of the time when it crosses my mind, I feel bad. I feel that pang of guilt and responsibility for losing the opportunity, but I always try to mask it by blaming the system. And maybe the system was actually part of the problem, but I was part of the problem too, because I didn't do what I was supposed to do in time. So if I was to truthfully answer the question of why that opportunity didn't work out, I have to accept my part in it and indicate it as part of the problem, so that when I start to re-strategize, I can note clearly not to make that same mistake again. Now, the next thing you need to do after asking your what and genuinely asking your why is to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself for the things you thought you should have done better or said better. I know you promised you would never fight again in the streets, or yell at your colleagues, or forget the kids in school, or leave your reading or preparation for a project till last minute, but it happened, and maybe it's caused a strain on your relationships and made things go bad for a while. But you need to stop replaying those scenes over and over in your head, because if you don't, you will keep sinking into the wrong emotions, and that does not help to change things. It won't help you correct the things that went wrong in the past, because I mean, the past is the past, and it will even make you do better the next time. What has happened, but you need to stop living where it happened. You need to let go and give yourself grace to be imperfect, grace to make mistakes and learn from them, grace to stumble in a world that has no clear map, and grace to allow your wounds to heal, not fester. And I know you feel your mistakes are the worst that anyone could have made, but that's not true. So every time you feel bad, tell yourself it won't happen again. And one way to make sure that it truly does not happen again is to re-strategize. After you figured out why things are the way they are, you need to double down on what's working and change what is not. That could look like maybe creating the right systems, and systems do not always have to be complicated. It could be as simple as setting a daily reminder for a particular kind of task, or having a partner that you go to the gym together, or hiring someone to handle that part of the business that you're not so good at. Just 1 or 2 simple actions that you can take, or a little change you can make to improve on the things that are not working. And you also want to make sure that you don't relax on the things that are working, because everything can always get better. Now, this next one I'm about to say can be quite controversial, but then you need to start using your unfair advantage. And this is something I heard from someone and I totally agreed with. Life is unfair, and not everyone will have the same opportunities or privileges or advantages. But you need to stop feeling bad for having an advantage or a privilege and start using it in your favor. And you need to also stop making people feel bad for having or using an advantage or privilege. For instance, pretty privilege is a common obvious advantage that some people condemn. But just because you condemn it does not make it less true. It does not change the fact that some people get attention faster because of how they look, and with that they are able to get whatever they want faster as well. For instance, I have a male friend that is so handsome, and he says people always help him faster wherever he goes, and that saves him a whole lot of stress. How do I complete the video with a dead system? So at some point my system died. They just brought light. So let's finish the video. So I was talking about my friend who has pretty privilege. No, is a guy, so what do you call it now? Anyways, the fact that it looks so good that people usually want to go out of their way to connect with him, and therefore they usually want to help him faster, is a privilege. And no, not everyone in the world is madly handsome or beautiful, but I believe there's almost always something you have that others do not have as much. Intellect, money, connection, sense of humor, anything, a skill, anything at all, and there is no shame in using it to get what you want, as long as it's not morally offensive. I mean, why suffer for something when you could have just gotten what you wanted without stress? And you know what else I think? If you do not have the unfair advantage that you need, then get someone who does, a friend, and hired staff. Just make sure that the relationship is mutually beneficial. For instance, if I know that people who are fine, who are pretty, gain entrance faster in a particular place I want to visit, I just go with my fine friend. And if my fine friend knows that intelligence or eloquence or a sense of humor would help her get her foot in a particular door, and she thinks I have it, she can just go with me. And I know many people will probably disagree with what I just said, but it is what it is, and you can always share your thoughts in the comments. Now, another thing you want to do, and I know you hear this one a lot, is to invest in yourself. Invest your time and resources into things that actually matter to you. Invest in knowledge, invest in looking good, and I mean the right knowledge, not some trend or whatever. Know basic things that other people know, whether in your field or just life in general. So you can't afford not to invest in knowledge. You have to keep learning. You have to continually consume good content that align with your work, with your person, with your moral values, content that stimulate your creativity. Just challenge yourself intentionally. And that brings me to my next point. Stop caring about what people will say and just go after the things you want. Most of the people that are holding you back with their opinion, or that you're worried about them criticizing what you're doing, most of them do not feed you, do not clothe you, will not help you when you're in trouble, and they've never even been of help to you in any way before. You know yourself, you know what is best for you, you know what works for you better, so go after the things that you want. You have to stop holding yourself back because of people, because at the end of the day, in the end, if you do not do the things that you need to do, it will be you regretting, not them. And the last thing I'm just going to mention is you need to start loving yourself. And I don't mean just the way that you look or the way your body type is, and that is part of it too. I mean, you have to accept you for who you are, because if you don't learn to love yourself and love the way you look, how do you want somebody else to love you? The universe can usually dictate energy. So if you're at conflict with your body or yourself, then it's difficult for somebody else out there to embrace you and to love you for who you are. And that's, by the way, my actual focus is elsewise, like in the way that you manage your body. Eat better, stay hydrated, and sleep well. Do you know that I've noticed that whenever I sleep well, there's usually just this certain glow to my face that is not usually there when I do not sleep well. Or maybe I'm just, it's all just in my head. But truly, you have to do better for yourself, because if you do not act right by your body, then you shouldn't blame your body if your body starts to break down along the line. And to be able to do all these things we're talking about, self-improvement and all that, you need a healthy body. And to be able to enjoy the results of your hard work, of your working on yourself, you also need a healthy body for yourself, for your family, for people around you. So you need to start doing better for your body, and you need to start immediately, because the things you do now build up and add together, and they all determine how well your body will serve you and for how long. And yeah, I think with that, we've come to the end of this video. If you have more helpful tips, you can drop them in the comment section. And if this video helped you in any way, drop them in the comment section as well, and share with whoever you think needs to hear this, because the year is still young and we're just getting started. We will not be discouraged. 2026 still has to make sense. Thank you for sticking with me through the video. I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.